Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Thoughts of a Rambling Mind. I make these videos, of course, because I feel like there's some knowledge that's out there in the world that we as a people don't gather and don't quite understand. Although we're familiar with this information, we don't apply it to our lives, and I think that that's a great mistake, and it's also a great downfall. I think that the reason why racists have power in this world is because of the lack of education and the lack of knowledge that people who are not racist have and the racists themselves have. So if we educate all, I think racism will go away because people will realize that the truths that we understand to be true are actually all false. So this video is going to be about what God do you serve? What God do you worship? Because I don't think a lot of you understand what God you do worship. Okay, so in the last video, I spoke about God, gods, multiple gods, right? And I spoke about it because I wanted to make it clear that if you're worshiping a God other than the God that created your people, then you are blaspheming. Okay, you are in sin. Now, I spoke about Aphrodite, Zeus, and Athena, and those would be the gods of the Romans and the Greeks. Whether you call them Venus and Saturn and Pluto and Mars, or Aries, or Capricorn, Sagittarius, or whatever names that you call your god, those gods are Roman and Greek gods, European gods, and those gods were in complete direct conflict to Christianity and Christian gods. You see, the truth is that, as we all know, Jesus Christ was killed by the Romans. He was killed by Caesar. He was killed by Europeans. Um, Now, again, I'd like to preface this by saying this is not racism. This is fact. This is history. Jesus was killed by Europeans. Um, the picture that is most famous of the image of Jesus is a false image. It's an image of a Roman, a European. Um, the calendar that we follow is a Roman calendar. Julius Caesar created it, or was created in his time by his people for him. Um, Many of the months of the year that are on that calendar are actually the names of his children: Junius, Octavius, Augustus. Um, so it's very important that we notice why. Well, the reason it's very important that we notice is because you have to understand that the calendar is a symbol of the cycles of the earth, right? Of the peoples of the earth, most peoples follow a solar calendar. The reason why they follow a solar calendar is because they like to track the sun in order to know when times of bounty, when times of great um, extras are around, when nature is providing a great time to reap what you've sown for that year. When you should plant seeds, when you should begin to pull your plant, harvest your plants. You understand? Harvest your grains. So this is why the calendar was very important, especially, and a solar calendar was ideal for that, um, so that in those times people could survive. The Romans, Caesar, followed a lunar calendar, the calendar that we follow today. I would like it to be clear that in the Christian culture and African cultures, most cultures that follow solar calendars, the sun represents God, right? And the moon represents Satan or the devil. And it's always been that way. So who do you worship? Whose God do you serve? All of our parks, our public places, And our courts are Roman buildings with Roman pillars and Roman statues. All of our laws are Roman traditions. The identity of the Christians and the Jews has been stolen, and the people who stole the identities are the descendants of the Romans. The most famous, the most prolific, the most common form of jewelry molded in the world throughout history has been a cross. A cross. What is a cross? A cross is a Roman tool for punishment. And those who have taken the identity of the Christians have taught Christians to worship this tool. I heard a famous comedian make a comment about rappers with crosses, saying that it's like wearing a hypodermic needle or electric chair around your neck, like having an iced out noose around your neck, because the cross was what they used to kill criminals and have them on display so the world could understand what would happen to you if you broke the laws of Rome. So I would like you to know that if you are an African American, you need to learn where you come from. If you are a child of Abraham, a true child of Abraham, you need to learn where you come from. If you are a Gentile, which is the word for non-children of Abraham, you need to learn where you come from. And we all need to understand that if you don't understand where you come from and you're worshiping the wrong God, you are worshiping false idols. You are in sin according to your religion. Okay? And for those of us in America that follow this calendar, the calendar of the moon, the calendar of Caesar, the calendar of the devil, you're worshiping the devil. Or, in the least, you're worshiping the wrong God. Christianity and Rome are enemies. They have nothing to do with each other. Caesar killed Jesus on the cross. If you're walking around rocking a cross, whose God are you serving? It's a simple question. Thoughts of a Rambling Mind. Please like, subscribe, share, and I'm out.